The Gears of War Marcus Phoenix collection has been a hot topic for the last month or two. It all started with some industry insiders. Then they started talking about a possible remaster collection for the third-person shooter franchise that would be similar to the Master Chief Collection. Now, apparently Microsoft has been super happy with the success of Halo's giant multi-game collection as it helped keep the franchise relevant during a rough period of its life, while also bringing the series back to the PC in a huge way. Welcome to Video Game Leaks, everybody. Today, what if I told you the Gears Remastered Collection is still coming? The first thing you're going to say is, Jimmy, do not play with our heartstrings. Well, I'm going to do my best not to do that. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Make sure you are following the page. Make sure you have those notifications fully turned on. Gears of War. It's always lived in Halo's shadow, let's be real. Never reaching quite the same level of popularity, but still boasting a huge community of passionate fans. Now, with Gears 6 currently in development, many were expecting a remaster collection to drop this year as kind of a way to bring the fans of the franchise into the next gen while also reviving the series in preparation for the next mainline entry. But when the game was a no-show at Microsoft's conference at Summer Games Fest, some major industry insiders suddenly pulled a 180 and said the game wasn't real and never was. How dare they? So I decided to dig a little deeper and go over absolutely everything that has come out both about Gears 6 and the rumored Gears Remastered Collection and see if I and you guys can figure out what we missed. And you may ask, did I find anything new? Well, kind of. The whole idea of the Gears Remaster Collection was that it would drop a year before Gears 6, and that would be the way to tempt Gears players into buying an Xbox Series S or X. This way, they'll probably be ready. They'll be properly equipped for the next generation of Gears games after all. The last mainline Gears game was released back in 2019. That's 3.5 years ago. It was on the One and the PC, and since then, Gears fans have just been playing the existing games. Now, if you buy new consoles for Gears of War, which a lot of people do, you haven't really had much of a reason to buy an Xbox Series console yet, so it makes sense for Microsoft to try and change this pattern. This is what they did for Halo 5 and Gears 4. A year before Halo 5 came out, Microsoft dropped the Master Chief Collection. A year before Gears 4, they dropped a remaster of the original game, both the campaign and the multiplayer. So it made total sense for Microsoft to kind of fast-track a Gears Remastered Collection in preparation for Gears 6. But seemingly, right after all the insiders started coming out and saying the game was happening, then they turned around and said the game wasn't real. How do you do that? How do you get inside scoops that say it's happening and give details and then say, no, it was completely false, it was fabricated, it wasn't real at all? So the Xbox presentation at Summer Games Fest was our last chance to see a Gears Remastered Collection, if it truly was coming, and obviously that didn't happen. After all, if Microsoft is planning on dropping this thing before the end of the year, that June conference, that was their show. That was where they reveal it. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You don't want to reveal a game too close to its release date because then there isn't enough time for the hype train to build and people to get their pre-orders in, especially if it's supposed to be a console-selling game. You can't really go out and buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X right now, so if Microsoft wanted Gears, the collection, to be a system seller, you need to announce it a few months before launch day in order to give people some time. Give them some ample time to order a new console. That didn't happen. But now that we're going back and looking at older information and comparing it with what actually happened this summer, I'm here to tell you, I think there's still a chance this game exists. Not a huge chance, but not a 0% chance either, and that's what we cover. We cover the 1 in a million leaks and chances on this channel, so here we go. Gears of War 6 was confirmed to be entering performance capture, which means it's probably a year or two away from release. Now, many people are predicting 6 to launch in late 2023, so obviously not a ton of time for a remaster collection to come out beforehand. But I was recently looking through some older Gears 6 leaks, and I'm actually starting to wonder if maybe we had the timeline wrong. According to insider reports earlier this year, Gears 6 may not actually come out until 2024, which gives us an entire extra year to get the Remastered Collection. Now, granted, this may not be the case, but if it is, it's huge. Gears 5 came out in 2019, so pushing the sequel back to 2024 would create a whopping 5-year gap between main series installments. That's a long downtime. That's a lot of wait time. With Gears 6 development well underway, and the gap lengthening between it and the last Gears title, a lot of people just assumed the next one would be out in 2023, which would still be a 4-year wait. It's a long time. But going back and looking at older reports, many insiders were saying Gears 6 was coming in either 2023 or 2024. There actually hasn't been an official statement about the game launching in 2023. It was just speculation that kind of became the law of the land. But what if the law of the land was wrong? What does that mean? Well, I think it's entirely possible that Microsoft isn't planning on dropping Gears 6 until 2024, which makes sense. Like I said before, the Xbox Series X isn't exactly easy to get in your hands right now, so rushing out system-selling games may not be the best strategy. If the game was on track to come out in either 2023 or 2024, I think it's entirely possible that Microsoft pushes for 2024. That way the devs have more time to polish the experience, and the consumer has more time to get a new console. The Xbox Series S, pretty easy to get right now, but the X, which is the one that Microsoft wants you to play this game on, isn't as easy. Still supply chain issues over a year later. So why would Microsoft push out a system-selling game when nobody can get a system? So here's my new prediction for this channel, for you guys. Here we go. Remember, it's speculation. We don't have any personal insiders here at Video Game Leaks. We just compile everything on the internet, and then we try to make sense of that and what is said. I think my prediction is pretty plausible. I think Microsoft is shooting for a 2024 release of Gears 6, and that's in order to give the consumers more time to get a new Xbox console, while also giving the coalition more time to finish the game they're working on. Make sure it's worth the wait. After all, if the game comes out in 2023, that's still a long wait from the last one. So if the wait is going to be long regardless of the release date, might as well keep it in the oven for a little longer and make sure it's as good as it can be. With that being said, I also think it's entirely possible that the Gears of War Remaster Collection drops in 2023 instead of this year. And frankly, I refuse to believe the Remaster Collection doesn't exist. It makes total sense. It completely lines up with Microsoft's existing release strategy with franchise games, and it also just does not make sense for so many insiders to be so confident in the game's existence just a couple months ago, and then poof, they're not. Doesn't make any sense that everybody was talking about this game, and then all of a sudden it's not real. So that is my official predicted timeline. Gears 6 is coming in 2024, and Gears Remastered is coming in 2023. And that will be the way to rehype the franchise, get more people in the Xbox Series X camp, get them to go push for the console, get them excited. That gives you a year to hype up for Gears 6. There you go. Let me know what everybody thinks. We could be wrong, but I just don't think so. I think we're going to come back 6 months from now and revisit this video and be like, yup, we hit it on the head. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for all the love on the channel lately. We truly, truly appreciate it. The entire Video Game Leak team appreciates it, and we are excited for the future of this channel. We'll see you guys soon.